So, good afternoon. I'm so delighted to be here this afternoon and to speak on the role of school administrators in ensuring online safety of our students as they learn. Of course, we know that with the emergence of the COVID-19, there's been so many platforms, for students to learn from, and most schools have been engaging in online learning. But what I'm not sure about is how safe the students, because there have been so many stories breaking out here and there about cyberbullying, about abuse, about grooming, about predators coming on, and sometimes people even hacking a Zoom session and fixing it in classes. So today we're going to look at the role that school administrators actually can play or should be playing to ensure that our children are safe as they learn online. It's not enough that they take home some academic work and they are doing fine academically. They may actually be undergoing abuse or bullying or any form of other cyber stuff that is going on, which we are going to look at, because really safety is a big concern when it comes to online learning. And there must never be a time when children are really left on their own. They've been so exposed to a lot of hours online lately. And of course, with the more time they spend there, the more prone they are to getting involved with things that maybe out of their curiosity land them in trouble, or maybe out of ignorance if the school administrators do not rise up to actually address these issues with their staff and also with the students and the parents involved. So I'm going to be sharing my screen right away, and I hope you can hear me very clearly.
Yes, I can.
Your audio is fine, man. Thank you.
Okay, so online safety of students, the role of school administrators. All right. So first, let's meet me. I'm actually Nancy Ekpezu. I've been a school administrator in 4 reputable schools across 4 cities in Nigeria. In the past couple of years, I've worked in the education space for 25 years now, and I've been a school administrator in 4 reputable schools across 4 cities in Nigeria. I'm currently a management consultant. I'm also a life coach, and I coach professionals and individuals to gain clarity, become better versions of themselves, and achieve their career and personal goals. I'm the founder of the Facebook group Educational Administration Network with over 12,000 members from various countries around the world. And I'm currently the lead consultant and coach and trainer at Pezu Smith Consulting, which is actually my baby consulting firm. I'm a TEDx speaker. I spoke at a TEDx event in TEDx Asata in February 2020. And it is my pleasure to actually present this today. I like my sessions to be interactive. So I'm going to take some parts, and then we're going to have a lot of discussions and contributions, and also, questions from everyone who is around. So basically, with the lockdown, 8 to 11-year-olds have to spend like 15 to 20 hours a week and more on the internet, depending on the volume of work that is given to them, by their teachers and what the schools actually encourage. And teenagers spend a lot more time on this. And apart from learning, of course, we know that one of the things about education is that there are social interactions, and you cannot stop children from interacting. And since there has been a lockdown, they feel isolated from their mates. And so one of the ways they engage with them is to get online, to chat, to send pictures, to exchange resources, to do their homework collectively, or, collaborate on things. And in the process of doing all of these things, if children are not monitored to see what they are doing, you'll be amazed at all of the things that are already going on. Okay, yesterday my co-presenter actually showed a few video clips of things that went on in some schools, and how a parent even had to pretend to be a teenager and to get into their world and know exactly what's going on. And it's really amazing, all of the things that are going on. They're so alarming sometimes. And I think that it's time for school administrators to rise up and to say, we can actually help. in our own way to contribute to the awareness and to make sure that while children learn online, they actually stay safe. So school administrators need to ensure that children stay safe while they learn online. It's not enough for us to make them pass exams and submit their assignments. We must be sure that they are not being abused, they're not being bullied, and there are no predators taking advantage of them. They are not exposed to pornography and a whole lot of things that are actually going on the cyberspace, okay? So as a school administrator, it's important to ascertain the dangers that the students are exposed to when they learn online. You cannot really fight what you do not know as a school administrator. And so when you know that these children are exposed to maybe pornography, or they could be exposed to bullying, they could be exposed to a whole lot, then you know what exactly you're up against. But if you do not know these things, then it becomes difficult to actually do anything about it. So first you need to be aware yourself as a school administrator that these are actually the dangers that the students are exposed to when they learn online. From pornography to sexting to grooming to predators and being exposed to hackers. There are a whole lot of stuff that they're exposed to. Okay, so one of the first steps you want to do is define online safety. What exactly does online safety mean to you as an administrator? It's important to define online safety for students so they can understand what to avoid or what to report when doing online work, either for their class or even while engaging with their classmates or friends socially. So you must let them know what online safety is, because some people do not even know that there are things called online etiquette. That you just don't get online and start emailing people just the way you feel and using any word on them. Just like the way we have ethics and etiquette when we relate physically as individuals, we must also extend ethics and etiquette to online learning, online behavior, because it is a community. You're actually meeting with real human beings, even though they're only showing their virtual selves. Okay, so we must be able to define what online safety is for students and drop an outline in our schools to create this awareness proactively. And as a school administrator, you cannot start sitting down and pretending that these things are not going on. So you can't just bury your neck in the sand and say, oh no, the kids are just fine. Because until you get into their world, know what's going on, believe me, you really, really will not know how to tackle these things. Okay, so school administrators must have clear policies and procedures around issues such as bullying. It's very important that you have clear policies around issues such as bullying, because it is happening whether you know it or not. And what are the ways that you can do it? You can determine the extent of cyberbullying through class meetings. Every teacher, there's some noise going on in the background. Could you mute? I don't know where that is coming from. Could you mute it a bit? Okay, so to determine the extent of cyberbullying through class meetings, focus groups, mails, polls, and surveys, okay? So you could have all of these. You can send mails to the parents and to the students, depending on their age. You can have the teachers have class meetings with them to actually find out what is going on in their classes, okay? Who has been talking to who rudely, who has been sending wrong links, okay, and pictures or anything that is not allowed. You can send surveys to their parents to interview their children and send back to you, okay, so that you have an idea and you're armed with information of exactly what is going on in your school. You can have focus groups, and you can have anti-bullying monitors in your school who look out for all of these things, because normally the children will talk to one another, but they may not be so willing to share when adults are involved. So you can actually do this so that the kids get to give their feedback about what is going on. Then you can train teachers. The teachers should be trained to send only approved websites to students to implement effective cyber safety education. We cannot do this alone as administrators. So all of the teachers in our schools must be trained to send only approved websites to students and to implement effective cyber safety education. In other words, cyber safety education must be carried out in the school at the level of the staff. That's the teachers who deal with the children directly, the admin team who also in one way or the other interacts with the kids and with the children, and then also the management staff and the parents also. So internet bullying lessons should be incorporated into the curriculum of the school. So you don't just say, oh, well, our school is doing fine. There's no need. You just once in a while talk about cyberbullying in passing. Okay, you could do it at assemblies. You can also have it incorporated into the curriculum of the school, just like we have moral instruction and civic education. We can actually incorporate a lot of the topics that have to do with internet bullying or cyber education safety into the curriculum of the school so that the kids know how important it is. When you lay emphasis on anything, what you're saying to the children is that this is very important. And it's not something to be ignored at all. Then we could have partnerships with parents. We should have partnerships with parents and the carers and agencies such as child protection authorities to be on the lookout also, so that these are people that the children can report to when anything goes wrong. Then we need to train the parents that while the teachers will only send out links to the approved websites, it is down to the parents and guardians to ensure their children remain safe while they're online. So there has to be a collaboration between the school and the parents. The school cannot do it alone, neither can the parents do it all alone. So there must be that collaboration between the two, between the parents and the school. In addition, school counselors should collaborate with classroom teachers for presenting classroom guardian sessions on appropriate internet etiquette. Usually kids talk to guidance counselors depending on their approach. So these people can be brought in the school, okay, to collaborate with the classroom teachers so that they present guardian sessions on appropriate internet etiquette and make it like a part of the school culture to groom people to have proper etiquette when they work online. And this applies to everybody in the school, from the management team to the admin team to the teachers, and then of course to the students and to the parents who are involved there. Then we need to also provide students with the right resources. I did a little research and found out that Google even has a campaign which is called Be Internet Awesome. And you can actually search that out. It includes it includes resources for teachers, students, and parents. I found that out recently while I was preparing for this presentation. And I've been sharing that with a few school leaders that are actually in my group, and I intend to send to those on my email list as well. So also, Google developed Interland, is a downloadable game that teaches students about internet safety. And all of these are just available. You can go ahead and check them out. Be Internet Awesome is a campaign by Google. And then Google also has developed the Interland. It's a downloadable game that teaches students on about internet safety. And students like games a lot. And so if something that is very serious is going to passed on to them in a very relaxed way and in a way that they enjoy working with, I think that will really catch their attention. Okay, so you should have all of these available for your students. So it's important that children also receive support. It's not enough to tell them, oh, please report to us if there's anything, and when they do, we do nothing about it. Any reports that are sent in by students by any form, whether from their peers, whether from classmates, or whether from seniors or juniors, should actually be taken seriously. and even reports from home. Because when we set the standard in school, it's not enough for them to behave when they're learning online. They should take on the etiquette even when they are socializing with friends, in other areas apart from school. And then for schools that have laptops, some schools have laptops for the students. You need to install monitoring software on your school laptops to ensure a safe learning environment, a safe during learning to curb cyberbullying, pornography, and predatory grooming. Now, there's some software that actually alert school administrators and allow them to intervene and stop dangerous situations before it's too late. So it would be nice that every school administrator gets online to research on some of this software that can be installed on your school laptops to ensure that the children are safe and free from pornography, from cyberbullying, from predatory grooming. Very important, okay? And then it's also important that as a school administrator, you get realistic about how much work should be done by the students online. When they spend too much time doing schoolwork online, they get bored in between, and so they begin to search out areas where they have no business going to. So as a school, encourage students to work for about 20 to 30 minutes time bites, and then let them have a break before they get on there again, so that they stay focused on the schoolwork. But if they just stay on the schoolwork from morning till, close of work with no breaks in between, and they are so bored, then they get bored. And the next thing is that they want to try out other areas that may catch their fancy. So there are nice ways to have them stay focused on what exactly, it is that they are meant to do online. Then we need to encourage children to use resources that are sent by their school. In as much as we encourage a lot of research from students, it's also important that the students are made to use resources that are recommended by their school, which are actually safe. And then, of course, they need to be taught the dangers. Very important. In the cyber safety education, they need to be taught that the internet is permanent. And if a predator is telling you, oh, come and take your nude picture and send to me, please tell them that that picture can never be removed from the internet. That is there. And even when they grow up, it can be traced back to the internet if the person lets it loose for everybody, or wherever they go and post it, so that they should be mindful about what they share. Even private information about them, they should be very, very careful about sharing online. So they need to be taught this, to constantly drum it to them that the internet is permanent, and that they should also be careful about talking to strangers, and should someone ask them to send in things that are not proper, they should know that these things are actually permanent and cannot be erased from the internet. Once they get on the internet, they stay there, okay? You could cite an example like, the issue we had, was it last year, about the students in the university, that the students from one university that got online and made a really big scandal of a boy and a girl that were getting together. So no matter what anybody does, such things can easily be shared. Before you know it, they go viral, and that could actually ruin a child's, it could ruin a child psychologically. So right now, I don't know what's happening to that boy and girl, but you can tell that their lives will never be the same. We're having a reminder online about something that it doesn't represent them or their school or their family in any nice manner. So you let them know that all of these things can be shared, and that anybody who keeps telling you, share this secretly with me, there's nothing secret on the internet, and anything can be exposed at any time, and it is permanent, which makes it terrible. And once it is shared to other people, just forget it, because you never know where it can get to, and it's going to stay there as a reminder of a mistake that you have made for the rest of your life, and could mar you and your chances even in the future for anything, okay? So children should be taught to be suspicious of strangers. Strangers are not people that they should just get involved with online. You let them know that they're not old enough to handle, strangers. Even as adults, we are careful with strangers online. You have ways of relating with them cautiously and what you reveal to them, how much more children. So you let them know that a lot of strangers, especially adults, who are going to get to tell you, oh, let me just be your friend. Tell them no, that you need to let your parents know about it, okay? They have no business just coming on and being friends. Tell them to be friends with your parents first. And if they pass the test with your parents, then they can be friends with them as well. And anybody who refuses to meet your parents or meet your parents online, then there must be something wrong with such a person, because they have an ulterior motive in trying to relate with you as a teenager or as a preteen. So they need to know all of these things. So you need to teach the children also to report online abuse or inappropriate content, whether it's coming from a classmate, whether it's coming from an older person, whether it's coming from, whatever source. They just need to know that they do not need to keep it to themselves, because you never know where it will lead to. And when someone sends an inappropriate content once and you keep quiet, then it means that you have given them your consent, and so they will keep doing it over and over again till you do not see anything wrong with it. Initially, the child may be uncomfortable, and then maybe feel really uncomfortable about it. But the moment they keep sending it over and over, and the person keeps quiet about it, it means that the child has given his or her consent to them, and they'll keep sending it. But if you report, such a person could easily be blocked or called to attention by an older adult. So in the school, I recommend that every school administrator should have like cyber police people among the staff who the kids can easily report to, apart from their class teachers, okay? They can easily walk up to and report or send an email or something once any inappropriate content is sent to them by any other student, or if there's any online abuse or bullying or any adult trying to get really funny with them. Okay, then you could switch to safety modes on websites like Twitter or YouTube to prevent children from viewing unsuitable content by accident. Yesterday, Mr. Adeyemo shared quite a number of apps that can be used, to ensure that kids stay safe online. And I recommend that, the list, anybody can request for it if you're really interested in having that, if you did not make yesterday's session. So all of these help to prevent children from viewing unsuitable content by accident. And some can actually alert the parents or the school administrators if there is anything wrong going on with, with the students, if they are visiting the wrong places. So there's every need that we let our students understand the traps of social media. In as much as it's a place to socialize and make friends and get to know people, there are also dangers involved. They can get addicted and it will affect their studies. They can, even get in there and get on with the wrong people. They could be introduced to vices. They could be introduced to basically, any form of evil. So they need to stay away, even though they want to have time to socialize with their friends. This needs to be done very cautiously. And I recommend highly that teenagers should actually have their social media supervised by their parents. But a lot of them are very sneaky. Sometimes they will have 2 accounts. They will hide one and give one to the parents, which gives the impression of a very good boy or girl, or a very good boy or teenager, while they open the ones where they do all their trash with their teenage peers and everything. So parents need to be very vigilant, and schools also need to rise up and see that they actually scrutinize and see a lot of these things are checked. So they should understand the consequences of oversharing, okay? Even among themselves as teenagers, because that video that went viral was actually from a classmate, a schoolmate of these 2 students involved. Okay, so they shouldn't even think that their classmates may not share things about them if they tell them private things that have no business going online. So parents need to be made to understand that some apps come with parental control. So take the parents to set these up on their devices, just like Mr. Adeyemo said yesterday. And like I said earlier, you can actually have access to those apps if you need them. Very, very important that you set parental control so that we can check what goes on with the students. And of course, we need to have several trainings over and over. I've said that that needs to be included in their curriculum. That's actually my recommendation, that it should be included, because right now online learning has come to stay. It's not something you're going to wish away or say, okay, when we get back to school, everything will just be normal. I doubt that we'll ever go back to the old normal. We have a new normal, and cyber activities are a huge part of that new normal. And there's nothing we can do to run away in the 21st century, in 2020 and beyond, from online. So you don't say, no, I don't even want my child to get online. This is actually where they learn now. This is where school takes place. And so everything we need to do to keep them safe, we need to actually put our heads together as school administrators, school leaders, you know, heads of schools, principals, or whatever position it is that you have in the school, and ensure that the kids under your care, the children under your care, the students, the pupils are actually secure online as they learn. Okay? And then when using online resources, it's important that both teachers and parents are confident that the children are using them appropriately. Because sometimes you may even give children the link to some things, and they decide that they want extra materials, and they start going on to wrong websites or places that they have no business with. So it's good to follow this up. And like I said, you cannot do it alone. Parents must be involved very, very closely. They must be very, very closely involved in the partnership. Okay, so like I said, we are going to go into a period of discussion when I'm done with this bit of presentation. So these are the ways to connect with me. You can connect with me on WhatsApp at 0803-5880367, on my Instagram at Instagram.com/Nancy Ekpezu. I'm also on LinkedIn as Nancy Ekpezu. I have a Facebook group, Educational Administration Network, where I share content for school administrators. I'm on Twitter as Nancy Ekpezu, and I have my website, www.nancyekpezu.com. You can book for a coaching session with me at coaching, for a coaching session with me at calendly.com/Nancy Ekpezu. And of course, I have a link tree that leads you to a whole lot of the activities that I do online. And it's linktree.com/Nancy Ekpezu31. My email address is nancy@nancyekpezu.com or pezusmithconsulting.com. So my conclusion is that it's important that children are not left unsupervised. It's important that they are not left unsupervised in their online activities, whether at home or in school. And since apps have been developed to help us with monitoring them, we need to start taking advantage of them and not take things for granted or leave things to chances. So with everything that has happened recently, there's a lot of danger on the internet for children. And so I urge school administrators to rise up and face the challenge and get things going. I think we have about 10 minutes more. So we'll be starting. So book a session with me at www.calendly.com/Nancy Ekpezu. I coach school administrators and school leaders. I also coach individuals to gain clarity and become better versions of themselves. And I think we can stop here for the presentation while we go on now to, questions and answers, okay? Okay, so I'm sure we've got, would you want to summarize the things that you got from the session? Okay. Okay, so.
God bless you for this presentation, Mom. I think it's more detailed than one can even think. My challenge is the fact that this message, I feel it needs to be taken to many schools. We need to do more publicity, because trust me, ma, there are so many people who need this information, honestly. And it's so sad that there are schools who are falling victim of this online harassment, sexual predatorship, and all that. Now, what can we do? You are well versatile in this consulting things, and you've been consulting for schools and all that. What do you think we can do, Matt, to get this message out there? Even looking at the attendance we have in this webinar, well, I'm not discouraged, but of course, maybe we need to push further. But how can we reach out to schools, children who need this? Because if we keep quiet, this thing will continue like this, and we'll just be seeing on the internet, we'll be seeing the news and everything, which will make us feel sad. Oh, that I didn't mean that this information could get to this set of people. This would have been averted. So, what do you suggest, Ma? What would be your recommendation on how to?
We could have like a summit. We can actually organize a summit and get more people involved and make it like a school administrators thing. Because really, I must tell you that these things will need to start from school administrators. A lot of parents don't even know what to do. And we are the educators, and we need to really start, that movement. Like, look, learning online has come to stay, and there's nothing, we can't fight learning online. What we can do now is do it safely and do it properly. So everything we can do to channel our, resources, our energy, our attention to ensuring that the children are safe online, that would be absolutely great. So a summit would be good, and lots of materials, content on it, on LinkedIn, on all of the social media platforms regularly, and copying in schools and other people. That would be really great. I think that would be a great place to start.
Thank you, Ma.
Okay, so do we have questions? I think we have just a few more minutes. Any questions? Thank you, Chukwebuka and Osabua here for attending. I really appreciate this. And I hope you were able to, it was worth your while. Can I get emojis from you to show how the session was? Oh, they are quiet. Oh, great, great. So what do you have to say? What's your contribution to this Osabwe here, and Chukwu Ebuka, and the Math Guru? What has been your experience with cyberbullying and children?
Okay, good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, I think the session was actually, it actually worth my time. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
But one thing that is actually bothering me, or the reason why I actually joined, is just like you said, the online training has actually come to stay, and it's and the major challenge we are likely going to face with the online training would always be all that you actually mentioned. But my question is this: just the way most people actually came up with this online training, is it possible to come up with something that, like an app, that could actually get the instructor or maybe the administrator to know what the students are actually doing at that particular moment?
Yes, there are apps that have been developed. I think yesterday Mr. Adeyemo shared quite a number of them. He can send them to you in a message. He can send the list to you. In yesterday's session, that was actually discussed extensively.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, ma, do you permit me to answer his question, ma?
Yes, please.
Okay, ma, thank you. Mr. Mark Guru. I'm unsure what your first name is. I would have addressed you with your first name. Sorry?
I'm Kazim by name, Kazim.
Okay, Mr. Kazim. The management of school activities, especially student activities or learners activities generally, is dependent on what the IT management in that school or what the IT infrastructure has. In my school, when students come in with their laptops, once they are connected to the network, you are automatically within the jurisdiction of the school's network. So there's a particular software that controls all your activities. You can't just connect any flash drive. You can't just download anything over the internet. You can't just visit any website. So there are many management solutions that school administrators can install. And that's why there should be some sort of collaboration between school administrators, IT units, and whosoever will coordinate that. I provide such assistance, and there are of course free software you can use as well to manage the online activities of your learners.
Okay. So, any other questions? Oh, someone joined and left us now. I think Farid.
Hello.
Okay, Chukwebuka, yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm very happy to stumble into this Zoom meeting. Actually, I was trying to join something that when this thing connected automatically, like I'm just lost. But along the line, I started enjoying what I'm hearing. So I'm new. So, but from what you have said when I joined it, it was educative, and I've learned something today that I've not learned in a long while.
Wow.
Please, I would like to be in touch with you guys when next this Zoom meeting will happen again, so I will know schedules of how it's going and know what time to be here to be learning some. Yeah, and also you made mentions that there are some materials already which student instructors can use to monitor what students are doing at that particular time of the online lesson and all those things. So which I'm not aware of. If someone can help me with the link of how I can
Mr.
get
Chisco, Emeka, we have 1 minute, but then I will just say that please reconnect immediately this meeting, and so that we can extensively take these questions, so that we don't just take the questions half-baked. So that at least we have another 5 minutes. In less than a minute now, this meeting should end automatically.
Okay.
So please just reconnect immediately so that we can take all these questions. I'm not always satisfied with half-baked or half-baked answers, so that we can discuss all these things extensively. And also would like to get the emails of